Well, hey, good morning to y'all. It's Grandpa Peter Coyote coming to you from some crazy little motel room out here in the middle of nowhere in the wild lands of America. Just rocking down this morning, drinking our coffee. Excuse my cameraman, she's drunk this morning. You know, alcohol can be a useful thing, mixed drinks and stuff. Little wine, little beer. But, man, it can sure make you crazy. It turns loose the craziness. So I highly recommend that you all limit your intake. I mean, you don't want to be a fool like I've been so many times before. Gee whiz. I got in this one phase. Oh, it was many years back. Mid-40s to my mid-50s. I went through kind of a second childhood. Well, you never get out of it. Shoot, I'm still a kid. But anyway, well, look at this cup, man. This motel gives you good stuff. Cup of joy, man. Now, can we get that? Come on camera, you piece of shit. There we go. Cup of joy. I just wanted you to see that. Know that life rocks. And the camera's really messing up this morning. But we'll keep on going here and see what we can do. So, oh man, as a part of that silliness, one time I was down to a friend's place there in Boulder, Colorado, and we were hanging out and imbibing and having a good time. These are two of the sweetest, most gracious ladies you'd ever want to meet. And they were good friends of mine. I mean, there weren't no hanky-panky going on. We were just having fun, And one thing led to another. Somebody got out, Wonder Woman's little bikini outfit. With the red, white, and blue stripes and the stars and all that stuff. It was awesome. Now I was just tipsy enough I let him put it on me, man. And, we were all having a good laugh about that. And then I slipped on my motorcycle jacket. My little black leather motorcycle jacket makes me look like, Evel Knievel, only small. And son of a gun. Babies, you gotta watch your intake of alcohol and other things, because you can get pretty damn silly, Next thing you know, I'm wanting to go out there and ride up and down Broadway on my beautiful little motorcycle and wearing this bikini outfit and this Wonder Woman outfit and my leather jacket. And I was headed out the door to do just that. And I was determined, too. And these ladies grabbed hold of me, good friends that they are, and sat on me and wouldn't let me go. Thank God. Man, I don't need the kind of trouble I would have had that night, let me tell you. But there's always something to, another level, to all these little moments in life. And there was a reason why I was practicing so much silliness back then. I was in kind of a depressed place. For me, anyway, which is still pretty positive compared to most, but, we'd come mighty close there in 97, 98. We was really moving some energies and doing some things. We'd had a radio show on there in Denver for a while, late at night. A call-in talk show with yours truly, coming to you from the stars, man. It was awesome. And people would call in and they'd be helped immediately. It was an amazing thing. And we presented some concepts and pictures to people that their hearts really hadn't considered before, and began to help society as a whole open up just by the sharing of energy through this little radio show. And God, the energy was up. And you know, we were all thinking, transformation can't be too far away now. Not knowing we had a few more years to go. And there were a few connections that hadn't been made yet that needed to be made and so forth. So that show went away after a few months on the air. But we sure had an awesome time doing it. And little by little, things began to slow down energetically. There was some repeat of dark times coming. You could feel it. So I was a little under the weather about all that. You know, you can get that way, even though you know in your heart that everything's going to work out. That it's all going to be just as beautiful as it can be. And that all we really got to do is hang in here for a while. But I had seen so much. So many miracles were happening. And then they started to die away. And it wasn't like that the energy was still there, because it was. But it just didn't happen the way it had been happening. And I was starting to feel useless and out of place. You know, I mean, like the people had gone another way. And all that energy was shared during those times. Those were spectacular years. Lots of neat stuff happening. I had a little practice on the streets. You know, of course I never charged any money. I was living as a quote-quote homeless person then, but I lived as a king. I was treated so well by the people, but even that was starting to back off. I still had a lot of good friends though, but it was much lighter than it had been. You know what I mean? So I'd taken to driving taxis, and that led to driving some limos too. You know, to help supplement myself and get myself off the streets and get back to having a life, you know. Because it seemed like it was the time to be doing that, because everything else was dampened down. And so I did. But because of that state of being, that disappointment I was feeling, I was going to some pretty dark places, and I needed the energy of a little party and so forth to bring myself back up off the ground and keep myself lying. But oh, the foolishness we get into. But like I say, there's always levels to it. And you know, I don't know quite how to describe this. But it was fun pretending to be Wonder Woman, you know. I mean, I'm not a cross-dresser or nothing like that. But there was some kind of underlying energy, something telling us, me, something there, by my own behaviors when I was intoxicated. And I don't know that I was listening too well at the time, but after a while I kind of got it, you know. We're moving into kind of a transgendered thing, where, you know, it's a part of this transformation, this planetary ascension we keep talking about. And you have to get comfortable with all facets of yourself inside so they can be integrated, or you can see the integration that exists already inside your heart, inside your person, inside this beautiful little body that creation has given you. And I don't care what you've done with it, it's still beautiful. And it's a grand instrument. And it can be used for some very creative purposes. And used is the wrong word. Employed is the wrong word. I don't have a word for that. But this body is a magnificent little machine. It's not even a machine yet, it is. It's a living entity that's meant to transform right along with you and change size, shape, conformation, all of that stuff. you know, and bring itself into a new presence of being. But in order to allow this to be, you're going to have to give up a lot of shame and a lot of inhibitions and a lot of restrictions and limitations that you've placed on yourself. You know, in this life, we get a lot of crazy input about the body and what should and shouldn't be done with it and what you should and shouldn't feel and so forth. And it's all total crap for the most part. Yet, you know, it's what's managed to keep society together through some pretty dark times. But we just have to recognize that not all of that is as it should be. In fact, most of it's just designed to cause you to feel shame for things that are natural in you. And every male has a lot of female in him, and every female has a lot of male in him, and it comes in varying degrees, you know, in each individual person. And we're still going to exhibit ourselves as male and female. Of course, we love the magic of that. But we're going to let go of all the darkness, all the tragedy, all of the differences that have held us apart for so long. Because for the most part, they're superficial and cultural. They become almost genetic. In other words, they become almost a solid part of it because they're so automatic in these cultures. But through transgender, through recognizing and honoring and appreciating the different facets of yourself, can you find some comfort within and become this magnificent being that you are, and completely comfortable inside of yourself as a male person, as a female person, and be able and willing to express any dynamic or facet of that person in any way that seems expansive and pleasurable. There are no restrictions here. And we're just beginning to remember, to know this, because it comes from somewhere way down deep inside of your core. And that little event that I talked about where I was acting so foolish was the beginning of something, of me rerouting my entire journey here and beginning to see and recognize what I truthfully was as a person and all the various aspects of me, light, dark, and everything in between, and finding an end to the divisions I felt inside of myself that create such nasty needs and warped desires in humanity, you know? Because we're made to feel ashamed for stuff that's normal to us. When I tell you that planetary ascension is a change from the ground up, that's exactly what I mean. We mean that nothing remains the same. Nothing. Everything we've accepted as natural and normal is, for the most part, complete bullshit. A freaking lie that's been implanted inside of us, and we've been made to live under the influence of these lies for what seems like forever now. That's the age of darkness. It's dumbing ourselves down to the point it's almost impossible to retrieve some semblance of yourself. But in ways like this, by recognizing the unusual and unique parts of yourself, and again bringing them together inside, in the center of your being, in the center of your chest, the center of your mystical heart, and letting it expand out and fill this body from there, you will feel new energy, new life, new love arise, and you will be a lot more comfortable inside of your skin. And guess what? Because you are your skin, yourself, this body, this person begins to reconfigure itself. You'll notice a new lightness. The heaviness will start to let go as you let go of the shames that have been so craftily integrated into you. And as you become comfortable with this person that you are, all facets of it being active. And then you can give yourself a big old hug and really mean it. Feel the togetherness in it. Feel the coming together inside of yourself as you embrace yourself. As you feel even the most difficult parts of yourself beginning to relax and let off with all of this stuff that is so heavily self-critical, all of this thinking that keeps us away from our peaceful self, all of this questioning and judging of ourselves because we feel this is weak and that is strong and so on. It's a balancing act for a while, but when you get to this place where you can embrace this self, you have held it together. You have brought it back together. When you feel this, when you know the great love in every aspect of your being and all of the misbehaviors too, then you can become comfortable with who you are and your willingness to express in very different ways with other beings will fall naturally into place, and you will experience the greatest joy you've ever known. It's part of this transformation. It's the active side of it. It's where we begin. This is why we're human. This is why we got into this skin in the first place and went through the entirety of this realm of experiences taking us so far from our hearts. So far away that the need and the desire to be back in those hearts gets stronger every minute that passes until we return to that heart. I don't know if you guys noticed a little angel sitting on my... What's that shoulder? Little angel sitting on my shoulder here. Yeah, she's an energetic field. But she's alive. That's unique. And wants out of this prison. Just like the rest of us. And it feels like a prison to be in this body with all of its restrictions and limitations, its heaviness, its needs, wants, desires. You gotta feed it, you gotta comb it, gotta wash it all, It's a stinky little thing, sticky, gooey, It's a mess. But it's also the most beautiful instrument of life ever created. And it's the envy of the rest of the universe. We're here to remember that and to experience the great joy that can be created through that remembering in the sharing with other beings that are of a close energetic nature to us, twin flames and so forth, that kind of stuff. But the concept of family, this gathering together with a few beings and trying to create a life for yourself, it gets greatly expansive. As we get out of the prison, we let go of the elements of the prison. We give it back. We set ourselves free. There are no restrictions, no limitations. When it's done in this energetic and loving way, where life comes through you, not to you, but through you. And you feel it vibrationally. And you can vibrationally expand into the fields of others and experience a little of their joy too, and share a lot. It's incredible, and I can only suggest here what the truthful reality of this is, but I can say, be open. Be willing to see even your most embarrassing experiences as a valuable tool, a learning of a great lesson. And come forward from your heart from that place where you're at peace with all the uncomfortableness you have felt and all the shame and burdens and pains that have been heaped upon you. Everything that makes you feel contrary to Mother Earth and Father Sky. Everything that makes you feel like you're out of place, you don't belong here. Give it up, let it go. And you do this by getting comfortable with all parts of yourself. Inside of this human form, this physical body, this person that you see when you look in the mirror. You know what? You're going to be a lot more pleased with it. Because it's time, babies. We have been made to feel like prisoners in a freaking prison. We've been made to feel that. And we've been punishing ourselves as our own warden and screws. You know what I mean? The guards that watch over you, you know. We've become that to ourselves. And we've kept ourselves firmly in this prison because we've been brainwashed into it from the time we were tiny, because that's all we see around us. And when we're little, we know, us bright ones, we know it's total bullshit. But what do? How do you find? You've resisted, you've conformed, you've run the gamut. There was no peace in any of it. You couldn't find peace trying to perform in the lies. It just doesn't work. You can't serve the phoniness, because that makes you phony. You can't live the lie, because that makes you a liar and a cheat. And brings forth emptiness, greed, you know, lust. What a beautiful thing that is. It's a reminder too of what we're truthfully after here. The greatest expressions of love, the greatest connecting that could ever be imagined. And we do it in this physical carcass, through the energy of love which flows through us like water from a waterfall. I mean, huge, just. That's what allows, that's what brings. And as you get more comfortable in yourself, you feel this loving energy flowing through you, coming from inside of you. You are creator and creation, experiencing yourself in all of these beautiful and spectacular forms that we've created here. Babies, again, I can only suggest where this all leads. But there is a family reunion of sorts coming. And we're going to do a little one over there in Crestone pretty soon. I think about June 28th for 3 days. We'll have a little jam, camp out, get together. Crestone Intergalactic Gathering. And I haven't had enough time to put all of this together. But it's going to put itself together. Mark your calendars, June 28th, 2012. Crestone Intergalactic Gathering. And what you're going to experience there is but a semblance of what I'm suggesting here. But because you come and get in this energy field with others, it will allow you to expand your experience here and become a more truthful person, and one that's not afraid any longer to live in joy and to experience joyful experiences, and to let those expressions form and go outward from you to others. So the joy expands, 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 person to person, until that's all we feel. That's what love is all about. It's what human existence is all about. We took ourselves away from it, so far away, just so that we could bring it back. Doesn't that rock? God, I love you, kiddos. Us little babies in the playpen. See, it's a playpen, not a prison. And we are babies. We're free to experience and explore and learn and grow without limitation. As long as we're not creating harm for others. As long as they are respectful and we're respectful too, and our energy fields enmesh, merge naturally. Nothing forced about it. The old ways of forcing, of making yourself do something because you feel like it's the right thing to do, things like that, back away. Quick. If you feel yourself pushing, pull back. Immediately. Review your behavior. Understand the feelings, the senses behind it. And you begin to uncover a lot of behavioral deficiencies that which has held us back this way. And then, because you see that and recognize it, and value it and honor it for what it's been, part of you, you can move beyond it and move into these unrestricted areas where life begins again. It's like resurrection from the dead. Exactly. It's like coming up from the ground, as if you've been laying in there cold and dead forever. That's the drastic nature of change that's happening here. And for part of you, yeah, it feels like death. But that death has been within you forever. It's just afraid to let itself experience joy. And that's what we're dying to, is that fear that we've lived in. It's allowed us to be so brainwashed and controlled. It's fear that got us here. When we first began to fear and then shared that fear with others, that was the contrary nature of being. We began to fear each other. Oh my God. Watch yourself as you go through your day. There are many people you still fear. That represents a deficiency. Something that you're self-correcting. It's true. By noticing it and being honest about it inside yourself. You want to get clear and clean and experience the most practical and beautiful life you could imagine for yourself? Keep it up. Stay in this process. And don't give up. Hell, we're so close now. And for many of you, this change is going to be instantaneous. But your memories will be altered, so that what you remember about the old ways won't be the same as what you're experiencing in the new. This will soften the blow and allow you to be then something much greater than what you feel you are now. Greatness is in every one of us, and none of us is neglected or ignored, no matter how bad we've been abused, no matter how bad we've abused others. Babies, we're in this boat together. We're the same heart, the same human being. We've chosen it this way. And for very, very specific and joyful reasons. Oh my God, kids. Oh my God. Stay with it. The journey is more than worth it. I'll have some more for you tomorrow or the next day, where we can detail a few parameters, perhaps. Let's just see where this goes from here, shall we? Well, old Fuzzy Grandpa loves you, kids. I'll see you again real soon. Bless your sweet little hearts. Again and again. And thanks for hanging in there as long as you have.